What is up, everyone? Welcome to Scarves and Spikes. Henry with you. Tyler, I pointed the wrong way. Sydney with you today on a wonderful Wednesday. I can't say winning Wednesday, guys, because Atlanta didn't win. In fact,
shared honors Wednesday.
Yeah, it's draw Wednesday, but that doesn't have the same ring to it. Anyway, it's international break time, so USMNT is in town. We get to switch from from watching Atlanta United be kind of mid in the bends to watching the USMNT be kind of mid in the bends. Hopefully not.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, guys, how are y'all doing today?
Welcome to the international break. Tyler, why
like
are you
my
clapping?
intro, Tyler? Is that why you're clapping?
Yeah, look at that. Henry did his first actual intro for the main show. So proud of you.
Well done.
What you don't know, literally 30 seconds before we went live.
Oh yeah, they totally threw me under the bus here. They're like, "You're doing it." So I'm like, "Okay, fine."
It's because then you don't have time to think about it. You get in your head. You just go with it. I mean, you know how to do this.
Yeah.
No, I figured it out. I don't have a whole lot of experience, but guys, there is someone that is come into Atlanta United with quite a bit of experience, and that's the news drop for the day. Do you want to go ahead and get into it? Do y'all want to talk about something else?
Yeah, I might as well lay it out there because that is definitely that'll be the news of probably the whole international break.
All right. Well, I think it's well timed too, because like international break, there's no Atlanta United game or anything. So this is our big thing that we have to talk about today. Let's get into it. It was announced this morning by the club. Well, not the club, AMB technically. Mauricio Culebro has been named president of soccer for Arthur M. Blank Sports and Entertainment. He will oversee, as president of soccer, both Atlanta United and the NWSL team that is coming to Atlanta that will start play in 2028. So Mauricio Culebro, his experience, he's currently serving as CEO, chairman of Tigres UANL, the big club and Liga MX that for the past 5 years at least, but really historically has been one of the top clubs. They've won Liga MX several times, Campeón de Campeones. They've also won with the women's team 4 Liga MX Femenil titles and 3 Campeón de Campeones Femenil as well. So this is a guy that is coming with experience, not just at a top men's club, but he has experience running a top women's team as well. And I think that's very important, guys, as he will be in charge of setting the foundation for Atlanta's new NWSL team.
And I'll throw this out there too. He was the former COO of the FAMFA, the Mexican Football Federation. So he has that national team experience as well, was involved in the World Cup planning for the matches in Mexico City, in Monterrey, and Guadalajara, I think it is. I could be wrong. Yeah, Guadalajara. So he's involved in the planning for that. So Culebro has very, very deep experience, guys, in Mexican football. Henry, that's a strong point that you brought up. Not just teams that have strong men's side, but strong women's side as well. And I don't know not a Mexican football expert by any stretch of the imagination. I don't know what the competitiveness is of Liga MX Femenil, how that compares to the NWSL. But this is, to me, a home run hire, guys, because you bring in, we kind of figure it would be maybe a European name or something like that from a Premier League, but you bring in somebody who has had, again, experience on both sides of the aisle, men's and women's, not just Liga MX, but again, Mexican Football Federation, not just Tigres, Henry, but Club America as well. I think you mentioned that, right? He had
15 years at Club America, and then between his time at Club America and Tigres, he spent 2 years, I think it was, as head of the Mexican Soccer Federation.
Yeah.
So he's got experience not just at the club level, but managing a national team as well. So obviously, this guy has an impressive resume, and now he's going to be the guy in charge of both of these teams, not just in the soccer aspect, right? But the business and planning aspect as well.
I have a theory, but I want to let Tyler kind of give his thoughts. But I'll kind of flood my theory about the women's team. I guess Tyler, what are your thoughts
Well,
about the move?
I will dive in. No, I think overall this is exactly what AMBSE needed. This is the profile that they needed, right? Because I mean, for all the reasons that y'all have mentioned, but you're not just focused on one team in this position. You are focused on a team that is trying to revitalize itself, and then you're also focused on a team that doesn't actually fully exist yet. So there are two different kind of foundations there. One of them is it's kind of there and it's a little broken, a little cracked at the moment, trying to rebuild it. The other one, you're trying to build it from the ground up and learn from the lessons from the first one. And this guy's kind of been around all of that. He's also been around Tata Martino, which kind of is a bonus. So I think, yeah, for all the reasons that y'all mentioned, this is definitely one of those hires where you feel like, okay, this is one, it's kind of out of left field, admittedly. But to your point, Sydney, like the profile I think they were looking for, or what folks have kind of associated with the club a little bit more over the past few years, short of the Tata Martino era, is this more of a European focus and more of a European look. And that's not what you got here. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I think you get the right person for the job. We haven't met the guy yet, but his resume is pretty freaking impressive.
So apparently, from what I understand, he will not join until June 1st, which is when his contract with Tigres expires. That time will fly by, but he will join June 1st or after that point when his contract expires. One thing that I wanted to point out about him that I noticed is that he appears to be the type of guy that isn't afraid to spend and to go big with his transfers. During his time at Tigres, summer 2025, he sanctioned basically the purchase of Angel Correa from Atletico Madrid for 8 million. That's 8 million euros. My bad. I was going to say dollars. 8 million euros. You go back a little bit more. You go back to some of the biggest transfers in Tigres history. 2022, signing Fernando Gorriarán for 12.2, Nico Ibanez from Pachuca for 10.10 million. He's not afraid to throw money around, and I think for a club like Atlanta United that has the resources and backing that this club has, that is probably the right profile for someone that knows not just that they're not just willing to spend money, but that they have an idea of the value of it. Because when we talk about, for example, Garth Lagerwey, I think he was a brilliant MLS executive, obviously, his track record at Real Salt Lake and Seattle, but it was a different profile. It was more kind of the money ball. It was the, we don't have massive resources to work with, but how can we maximize those resources that we do have to work with within this MLS framework?
Right.
And I think he tried to apply that here because some of the signings that he made, they weren't flashy signings. They were kind of these kind of value under the radar, kind of salary cap friendly signings, to say it. But they weren't like the big swings. Usually didn't see that with Garth Lagerwey. Now with this guy clearly with Mauricio Culebro, he isn't afraid to throw that money around. He isn't afraid to make these big purchases and even go ambitious with some big. I mean, Angel Correa is a big name in Argentina.
So I feel like Atlanta's never been afraid to go after like big money signings. Haven't really worked out, but it's interesting because there's a certain player in Liverpool that is going to be leaving the club at the end of this Premier League season. I know Tyler's kind of scheming over there. No, I'm half joking, of course. About Salah, yeah. Tyler's all for it. But no, I'm kind of tongue in cheek. But the theory went throughout, guys, based on Culebro's experience in Mexican football, and we'll bring Tommy in here shortly. Is when you look at the player that Atlanta United wants to bring in, do they make more of a push toward Mexican players, Latin American players? They're already doing South America, of course, but do you see that extend into Mexico itself. So I guess that's part of it from a player acquisition standpoint. And then on the other side of that, your technical staff for the women's team. What does that look like? Who do you look to bring in as far as that women's technical staff, that sporting staff? Does he work his contacts in Mexico? Does he look toward a successful Liga MX Femenino coach to lead the charge for the NWSL team? When the NWSL team is signing players, do you look to sign emerging talent from Mexico, Mexican players from the Mexican League as well? Interesting, and it's early still, and like Henry was saying, it's going to be June 1st before he comes into the team officially. But other questions that I was kind of asking myself is, how does this affect what Atlanta does from an NWSL standpoint? Certainly from an Atlanta United standpoint, but from an NWSL standpoint. I love the move, though. I don't know much about him. I didn't know much about him. Never heard of him before today. But on paper, guys, like you mentioned, strong resume, very strong resume. Both sides can really stand to benefit here, I think.
Shall we get Tommy in here?
Let's do it. I'll bring him in right now. Tommy, what's going on?
There he is.
Hold on.
I heard a rumor Jurgen Damm's coming back.
Not quite.
Close enough. Did you see that tweet though? That was like, this, I don't know. It was like a Tigres fan that's like, "Oh, Atlanta United took Jurgen Damm from us, took Juanjo Parada. Now they're taking this guy." It's like, thanks, Atlanta. I'm like, wow, okay, mildly disgruntled guy.
Yeah,
I'm also trying to do the math of how those have all worked out necessarily.
Maybe we'll see away from players from that club for a while in that case, or maybe not. We'll see if Calibra has some.
Parada, oh man.
There's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah, I know.
Only defender in Atlanta United's history to score a hat trick.
That's right.
That's true.
He had his own Twitter account. Like someone created his own Twitter account just for his thighs and everything. They loved him.
Is that right?
He was well loved here. It's a good signing. I think like you said, we don't know a lot about him, but when you see what he's accomplished there, sure, absolutely. You need someone, and I don't think that there was going to be a long list of names that we were like, oh, we know this guy here. It's not like
No.
The NFL where you see a name and you're like, oh, there's a 99% chance because I've been around, I know the NFL that he's gonna be coming in here. It's just completely different in the sport. And I mean, unless it was a name that was around MLS or real popular across another league, it was very likely that we were really going to know too much about him. And hey, that's fine. I mean, we've known other, players and coaches and people that run the league that have come in here and have been meh. So it's time to prove what you can do, what the signings, what the future of this club, both clubs, how it pushes them forward here, because you got one club that has a complete, complete blank history here that you're going to be starting on your own, and you have another one that started off fantastic, and then it's just been slowly. Oh, well, here's a little happiness here, and then it's been going down. Yeah. You'd be a hero here if you could come in and start getting Atlanta to being back to playing to the way that they did for the first few years, and that's really all just people want.
Yeah. I think too, like that kind of ties into something that Steven said here. There's a lot of upside to this, but I doubt, and Steven is clearly talking from an Atlanta United standpoint, doubt we'll feel any of that influence until around the end of the season. And that's true. This is not something that like a new player signing
Right.
you can get and they come right in because they've already been playing and they immediately score a hat trick. Why can't we have that? Anyway, that's not this type of thing. This is a business decision. And he's not going to walk in and immediately, even in June, flip things upside down. In fact, I think a lot of things are going to kind of look very similar in the meantime, because I do feel like he and Chris, just based on what we know about Mauricio, is that they probably have a similar idea of what each other want in terms of players and kind of where the club goes. But then on the other hand, like you were saying, Tommy, there's a whole other set of circumstances, and that stuff I think now starts moving very quickly for the NWSL side of things. So it'll be an exciting year regardless.
So really quickly, I do want to touch on this question from Huncho Dev. What exactly does a president of soccer do? Well, it's a good question. So basically, the idea is this is the person that is overseeing all the soccer operations for AMB Sports and Entertainment. So basically means they will oversee the soccer and business operations, the entirety of Atlanta United and NWSL Atlanta. So it does have a little bit to do with the signings. Yeah, they'll probably be involved and informed, but I like that's still going to mostly fall onto Chris Henderson, right?
Yeah,
he is kind of administrating that branch of Atlanta United, and when NWSL Atlanta has that structure, the person that they have in charge of that will also have that responsibility. He will have kind of the big lens of the business side of building out the NWSL franchise, bringing in the leadership, overseeing kind of the training ground that they're going to be constructing on this new plot of land that they just purchased right down the street from Atlanta United's training ground, setting up that entire foundation and all aspects of it. So yeah, it's literally the boss of soccer in Atlanta is what this person is going to be.
El Jefe.
Yeah. So we're gonna see what happens, but this guy clearly has the resume to do it. He clearly knows how to build winning clubs. So we'll see, man. Hopefully he can get NWSL Atlanta off to a very good start, and of course correct Atlanta United a bit, man.
I feel like we needed this news to you guys' point earlier with the international break and kind of the lull and all of that, but I'm glad that AMB dropped this in the morning to give us something to talk about on this episode. So
it was good. It was good. Yeah. It was perfect timing, as has been kind of the case over the past couple of years. I will say one thing as well about that question. There are a lot of haters of certain people within the chain of command that are fans.
Call them out, Tyler.
No, I'm not going to call anybody out. The thing is, whether you believe certain people in that organization deserve the amount of criticism that they get now is a little bit less relevant because you have now a buffer between the AMB SE side and the actual stuff that goes on for the club or clubs.
What are you talking about, Tyler?
You don't have somebody running the club at the very top who isn't focused and hyper-focused in the soccer world. Now
it may be appropriate to mention as context that Mauricio Calabro will report directly to Rich McKay.
Ah!
Oh, there it is. the name that Tyler was trying not to say.
Yeah. Oh, was that one? Oh, I didn't know.
You can't say his name three times, or you say his name three times, he becomes president.
It's to an extent though. It's kind of like Matt Ryan in a way, right? Sort of that buffer between. Matt Ryan's position, yeah. Except Calabro hasn't played football. Was never an MVP of his league, wherever he played in. Totally different background than Matt Ryan.
It's okay, Matt Ryan never.
I don't know if he had a playing background.
Yeah, I don't either. If it was probably like academy or something like that. But
I'm gonna create a background for him. He's like a former chess star, and he's won chess tournaments across the world.
What chess? Why did you go to chess?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's cool.
People play chess are real smart.
He has an
go with the fan fiction.
He has an MBA from SMU, by the way, so counts for something. That he graduated from, I think it's called Ibero in Mexico City. That was where he went to college. As I said, SMU. But then, guys, I was looking. He has a background in broadcasting with Televisa, which is one of the biggest television media companies in Mexico. Centro Club America. I was an intern for an investment firm in Dallas through the time at SMU. Joined Club America, and then joined FAMAFA, CEO, and then became first vice president, but then president of Tigres.
The chess club.
The chess club. he's involved in the chess club at Iberia.
Yeah.
We did
Good for him.
studies.
Well, you can't complain with how he's run Tigres because they are consistently at the top of Liga MX for like the past 5 years. They've been like top 5 every single season. They are consistently in CONCACAF Champions Cup, which is exactly where Atlanta wants to be, where we want Atlanta to be, if I'm not mistaken. And same goes for NWSL Atlanta. Like, we want them to, when they join, to be good, to come in like Atlanta did and just come in and be a strong competitor from the start, but not just a start. We want them to maintain that and to be good for a prolonged period of time so we can enjoy that for years to come. That would be the dream. And this is a guy that will be in charge of both of those projects, of starting off the NWSL team the right way and then continuing the or bringing Atlanta United back on track. I thought it was interesting, kind of a tweet that Felipe put out, that Culebra was brought in not to run a soccer club, but a soccer business.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was an interesting quote. What do you guys make of that?
I'd agree with that. I mean, it's more than let the on-field people take care of on-field. Like, let Henderson take care of the technical stuff and the player acquisition stuff, and pretty much you're over that from a business standpoint. So all of those positions that Chris Henderson is in, that Demetrios is in, that Skate is in, those all ladder up to Culebra. So yeah, he's in charge of the business aspect of it. I don't think he's going to be like meddlesome and say, hey, he's going to give recommendations, right? To say, hey, this player looks like someone we should bring in. I don't know if he's going to have a whiteboard with like dream signings like Darren Niels did, but I mean, he'll have some say in it, but I think he'll mainly let people who have their jobs do their jobs, not like Garth was. Garth was more hands-on. Culebra, I don't think, will be as hands-on, so to speak, for Atlanta United and NWSL, because it's two different clubs, two different leagues. So that's how I kind of interpret that, guys. Interpret that tweet from Felipe.
Does he do shots in the Gulch?
I don't foresee him doing
tequila shots, maybe.
If
it
were
tequila at the Gulch,
it'll probably be Dos Equis, though, as well.
I mean, find me a type of tequila that is not at the Gulch.
Yeah.
The list might be shorter. I'm sorry, alcohol in general. But the tequila.
Tecate. Either Tecate.
Well, I mean,
anyway,
there's a lot of front office. I mean, we've talked about this for a while. I mean, scouting is going to be a big question when he comes in, and I mean, what changes could he, like, when he reviews things? And the question will be, I mean, people think that when someone walks into the office, it's like a show Entourage, where he just walks in and he comes with the super soaker and shoots people and says, you're fired if you get hit with this. Like, it's not like that, but things haven't been working for Atlanta United long term here, and we've talked about it. Scouting's a huge one that has been questioned for years, and we thought maybe Garth was going to do something with that, and then Chris was Chris going to do something with that? Like, does he come in and look at certain things and says this isn't working? And same thing with, I mean, Chris is going to be under a microscope here. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be gone at the end of the year or anything like that, but like, I think everyone, when you bring a new boss in, and we said the same thing about Garth Lagerwey, like everyone's going to be reviewed at that time to make sure like that this is his vision of the team going forward. And it
Right.
might not be quick or anything like that, but there might be some concerns that when he reviews it, says we need to make these changes immediately. and that's what I hope when I see someone new coming in that's going to be looking over the entire franchise as a whole. And like I said before, we said this about Garth Lagerwey: review everything and make the changes that you need to. And when you're a team that's spending as consistently much money as Atlanta United has, year after year after year, and struggling to get the results that you want to see, that should happen when you're spending this much money on everything, and not just the team, the facilities,
Yeah.
the stadium, the coaching staff, everything that Atlanta United and Arthur Blank spend money on, and you're not seeing results. Changes need to happen, and he's going to be reviewing that because he's going to want to add this Atlanta United to his resume, that he took a team that has been struggling for years and has got them back to, the top tier of MLS teams, because we're just not that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting kind of project for sure. There was something else I wanted to bring up about him, and it literally just escaped my mind.
It's because you're the host. It happens.
Yeah, I get into my head.
Yeah.
But no, that the academy, kind of the entire framework of the club is what he'll look over. There was a comment that I think y'all brought up that, like, we won't see kind of his effect until the end of the season. I'd argue you probably won't see it until much later, because what he is doing is really is very, very behind the scenes. It's stuff that you're not going to see really on the headlines probably until it all comes together and you start noticing, oh wait, like this is different. This is vastly improved. It's things that'll build up slowly, and that I think you'll see more later on. As far as, do I expect them to come in and make massive changes to personnel? I don't think so. You're going to have the same three folks overseeing Atlanta United, which is Demetrios, Skate, Chris Henderson, obviously. Now, I will say, I don't know if he's going to want them to follow a framework similar to what Garth Lagerwey wanted them to follow with prime age players. I don't think he's going to be strict with prime age players, but I'm curious if he has some sort of framework of a profile of player that he wants them to look at, to go for, what connections he has, because he certainly has to have them. I like the ambition of going for Angel Correa. I'll always go back to that because that's a big signing. And if he brings that ambition here with the resources that Atlanta has, that could translate to some interesting signings down the road. But personally, for me, I will be happy to dance on the grave of the prime age players philosophy, because I think it's very limiting.
With that one, I was like,
me too. That's what grave?
Because I don't like. I'm not a fan of that philosophy. I wasn't. The idea that you would intentionally hamstring yourself by just not using your U22 slots seemed absurd to me.
Yep.
Anyway, anything else about Mauricio Culebro?
I think it's great. I'm not going to go off on another tangent, but I just think overall, like, you look for big clubs to go find. I can't say big names, right? Because it's not like all of us are invested in the president of soccer realm as opposed to players. But this is a guy that has the resume. And I think also, just again, based on what we know, he seems like he's going to fit in with that leadership group at Atlanta. And you got to trust him to build the NWSL team the right way.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm with
Justin saying, hopefully he sends a superstar like Antoine Griezmann. So
I mean,
Mo Salah's out of contract.
Salah's out there, bro.
Exactly.
Let's go.
Hey,
Make the phone call.
One can dream.
That's the introduction video, is like him walking in to Mercedes-Benz Stadium and Mo Salah's right behind him.
Right.
Well, here, okay, let me throw this up. That actually would be pretty sweet with explosions and fire in the background. just to play a little hypothetical, because again, it's international break. The week is off, and there's not much happening besides this. Mo Salah is available. Who or what do you do? Who do you move on from if you can make the phone call and they're like, oh yeah, I'll do it?
Great question.
We didn't really play for this question.
No,
Those are the best questions.
It was an inevitable question, but right now, like I don't know between the three DPs, because Alexi, I think, is a little better than I thought he was last season. Marginally, but he's creating, he's doing some stuff. Last game, he had a beautiful through ball that makes me think like he's capable of playing the through balls, but we don't see it that often. Then there's Miggy, who has his inconsistencies. He's very active and he loves the club, obviously. But man, you're paying him so much, and does he really produce to the level that you need from him? And then there's Latte Lot. Latte Lot would be the clear answer to me. But if you're bringing in Mo Salah, you're bringing in a winger. Does that profile fit? Now, listen, hear me out. You buy out Latte Lot, or you sell him, or you figure out a way to move him on. You play Alexi at the 9 and Mo Salah on the right and Miggy on the left.
I'm out.
Damn.
Solving all of Atlanta United's problems here in this episode.
Heck yeah. Hire me, Mauricio.
Henry's auditioning for a job.
But what do you guys think of the question of, like, if you were assuming Atlanta United was targeting Mo Salah, which of the DPs
That's what
do you
I'm saying. I mean, we got two people that got answers to, well, three. I'll answer two, but
no, Latte Lot. Latte Lot is mine. Tommy, what's yours?
Agreed. Latte Lot.
Tyler?
I struggle.
There's only three options.
Really struggle because my first instinct and my first just thought goes back to what I would think that this team wants to be and is trying to be, which is a team that can rapidly hit on the counter. Okay. I think had Tata Martino not been brought back in, my answer would be Latte Lot. But I still think, despite Alexi being much better, in fact, probably your most effective DP at the moment, he's too slow, I think, to be a part of what this team wants to build. So I think I would still have to go with Alexi.
That's a Patreon episode, I think, to do a deep dive into who goes, who stays between the DPs to get Mo Salah in. And granted,
of course, we're doing all this. We don't know who Salah's going to end up going to San Diego anyway.
Yeah.
None of this matters.
Yeah.
Well, you got to get rid of one DP over there. I mean, it'll be a pretty easy choice.
The one that you're not playing.
Yeah, exactly. But
well, that was a fun exercise. I'm glad.
Yeah, it was. It was nice little pit stop here on the international break.
Y'all want to know what wasn't fun?
What's that?
Atlanta United's scoreless draw against DC United last weekend. I was there. Sydney was there before the game.
You didn't enjoy watching it, Henry?
Not really. I'm gonna be honest. It was kind of a snooze at times because there was
just a bit.
Yeah, there were no goals. I mean, actually, you know what? What did get my heart racing was Atlanta United towards the end, where there were parts of the game where the whole back line just like, I don't know, they were updating their windows or something. Like they shut down, and I don't know what happened. They just let the ball in the box, and Lucas Hoyos dives and it hits the post and it hits his head. And
I'm guys, I hope that doesn't go in.
I was scared. I was scared for a moment there, but Atlanta goes up against DC in a low block. They create chances. They get shots off. They get 9 shots in this game. And they just can't score.
Yeah.
Right. They cannot find the back of the net. DC's constantly foiling them. The final pass, the final decision was just not there. And it was what Tata Martino said after the game. It's the decision making in these instances where there just wasn't enough clarity for them to define the game. There was also the grass looking very rough. We will be in the stadium on Saturday for USMNT's game against Belgium. And I don't know how the grass is going to look, if they've changed it.
Yeah.
But the grass was looking very, very rough. And although None of the players wanted to admit it. You could tell it was a factor because the ball just rolls differently. The players were getting stuck and tripping, and it just that affects how you play, guys.
Yeah. I want to see Kevin De Bruyne actually just go off on the grass after Sunday's or Saturday's match, or either him or some other player.
Well,
Or
Ronaldo
the,
won't be here, unfortunately.
Yeah,
That would have
Ronaldo
been
won't be
really
here.
fun.
Either him or Lukaku. Well,
Yeah.
Lukaku won't be there, but
No, I think that match sucked from a watching standpoint. It was freaking boring as crap, man. One of y'all described it in an article as like just a cardio session, and that's exactly what it was. There's a bunch of guys running around for 90 minutes, and I will say, I guess my glass half full take is definitely like you still saw what Atlanta was trying to do, and I will give anybody who is or has become a fan post Tata 1.0 that anytime Atlanta plays against a team playing in a low block like DC did, parking the bus,
Yep.
Tata tends to struggle with that.
yeah,
And so just he solved it enough times in 2018 to make it all worth it. He's dealing with a team right now that it's not complete yet in his eyes. So I think you're going to see more teams at the Benz try to do exactly what DC did. And unfortunately, there are teams out there that are better defensively than DC. And it's just a balance that they're going to have to get right. So
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, the book
It happened for years, man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We said that people come to they don't want to play soccer. They don't. They want to get away with I think the exact quote I said last week was a 0-0 draw or a
Mhm.
1-0 win and call it a day and go home and say I survived. And that's exactly what it felt like at times. And Hoyos could have made that a little bit worse there and caused the 1-0 loss there. I finally caught up to it. I watched the game. I think I watched it on Monday. I had it on the side TV while I was watching something else and just had the volume up on it. But I'm like, this is terrible. And you could just you could hear the crowd too, just like chants are high, chants going a little bit lower. Oh, like you could hear the groans as well. Like it's this break, I think, is a perfect time for Atlanta United. I know that there's some players away, and you're not going to be able to get a full practice here, but I think a little bit more time with Tata, watching tape, just trying to figure things out, I think is a perfect time to just be off and then prepare for this next part of the season. Because
Right.
next week you've got the Crew coming to town, and they have been bad.
Worse.
Real bad. I mean, I think is it two draws or 3 draws?
They haven't won a match in
They haven't
in the
won.
last season.
I think they have
not
like
won-
1 or 2 points so far.
2 points. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're gonna want to come in on a good foot, and they're gonna want to get their first win. You got to be ready for that. They're gonna for sure coming out of a break without a win. They're gonna come into this stadium hungry.
Huncho Dove saying in the chat too, and Henry, you and I were at the stadium, so we were able to hear Dax's commentary during the match with Evan West on Apple TV. But Dax was saying wingers need to create chaos, creative wingers to cause chaos. Also saying the subs came too late. That's one of the things that I noticed too. Tata was a little hesitant to make subs. So we saw that like in 1.0, right? He just wasn't allergic to subs, but he was reticent to use substitutes until after a while. So I think he saw that on Saturday to an extent that you didn't really see it in the 4 matches prior. But
He's consistent,
did-
isn't he?
yeah,
He's consistent. I mean, he did it in
Yeah.
Miami. The Miami. I watched the Miami fans complain about it for a few years as well. When he's not. How old is Tata Martino?
the 60s. I mean,
He's not changing.
yeah, bulldog need tricks, horse to water, etc.
No.
But yeah, I mean that's his style. When it works, it works. When it doesn't. But he needs to trust his bench, trust the players that he has. So that's one part of it. But the other part was, you have the sense that one goal would be it. And I think I tweeted it out on Saturday. One goal would be all it takes to win this match. Just how, like we were just talking about, DC sending that low block, forcing Atlanta to play through them. Guys, I was looking it up and I don't have it in front of me right now, but I think DC is toward the bottom of the MLS standings or stats and possession percentage. And that's just the style of play that they prefer. I talked about it over the weekend, right? It works when teams don't score, but DC is not a team that is able to put the ball in the back of the net themselves. Came in with 4 goals scored all season long through 5 matches. And the longer they can keep teams off the scoreboard, it's good for them, but they don't have that scoring themselves. So it's just a slog of the match. They're not going to be the last team who comes in and tries to do that to Atlanta. But going back to the Crew, they're not as they're not the same in how they approach possession. I feel like they have 53% of the ball against TFC in a 2-1 loss on Saturday. So they're willing to let teams have the ball. They just haven't been able to generate much in the attack. So still a lot of time, guys. I mean, it's international break, so we still have time, and we'll get to the Crew when we get to the Crew. But yeah, like you said, Tommy, if you're Tata staff, you have plenty of time to sit down and take a look at, hey, here's what went wrong. Here's why we couldn't get any traction against DC.
Yeah. I mean, the Crew's not this Crew is not the Crew that you've known for
Not
years.
even close.
No, and they're going through an identity change as well with a new manager and all of that, and you just need to be able to take advantage of being at home. And I think after the Crew game, they go on the road to Chicago.
Yeah,
Chicago and then Nashville, is it?
One of those teams, Miami or Nashville. One of them.
Yeah, but like the crowd, the one thing I will say, I saw some pictures of the crowd, and it looked like a decent crowd on Saturday at the game. And now that's coming off after a win.
Columbus, Chicago, Nashville. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you win, the fans will come. And they did. They showed up. Don't do that smile, Henry. I'm being mature today.
Sure.
I'm trying. But the fans show up after when you have an impressive performance. And the week before that, it was not only impressive, it was a show. Winning 1-0, even if they would have won that game, like people would have gone home and like, yeah, I just went to one of those stereotypical games that people talk about soccer where it's a boring 1-0 game and that's the sport. But the game before that was not. That was old school Atlanta United, the Atlanta United type games that made me fall in love with this team, saying, all right, nonstop action. You can't go to the bathroom for 45 minutes because if you do, you are going to miss a goal.
Yeah.
You could have brought the newspaper and everything into the bathroom for that last game, and you would have missed nothing.
Right.
And so it's a complete opposite of what they got before. It was like, oh man, they suckered me in. They took away the Ticketmaster fees. Screw you, Ticketmaster. I don't want them sponsoring us, so I don't care anyways. But like, they took away the fees. I bought tickets to this DC game. No Ticketmaster fees. We're ready to go, and we got that performance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we've said is that, obviously playoffs are the goal here. But the other goal is that you got to start building your fan base back up. And you do that by having performances where your attack is impressive. And that was not it. That was unfortunately not it. And, right now, because I like talking about this because I think it's always interesting with cities is
Mhm.
all the teams in town fight for your money as they should. The Braves are starting tomorrow. I think the Braves start tomorrow.
Yes.
The Braves are starting tomorrow. The Hawks are on a generational run right now. They're beating Detroit right now. Spoiler, and they're making a run
Okay.
into the playoffs. So they're going to be getting fans are going to be Hawk crazy here in a couple weeks when the playoffs start. And Atlanta United's here as well, and they need to start showing people like you need to come here and you need to spend your money at Mercedes-Benz Stadium to see a fun product and a winning product as well. And you're 1 for 3
Yeah.
at home at this moment.
Which in baseball is good. I mean, it's 333 batting average, but not so much in soccer.
It would be great if it all applied the same way.
53,000 was announced attendance at the home opener in this last game against DC, which was the third game at home of the season. Yes, third game at home of the season. It dropped down to 35,000.
Mhm.
It, for years, it would not go below 40,000 as
Right.
far as I remembered it at
Yeah.
MLS games. So I think you're clearly seeing that people are kind of just meh about it right now, and they deserve to be, because this team hasn't really given them a reason in the past year, the past 5
Longer
years
than
to
that.
really be excited that this team is going to be a competitive team. I mean, there have been spurts. 2023 was fun. 2024 with the playoff run was pretty exciting, but I mean, other than that, other than those short spurts within kind of mediocre seasons,
Mhm.
you haven't had much.
Yeah.
Something I was looking at, I thought was very interesting. And it kind of goes back to the point earlier about DC and boring soccer as opposed to exciting soccer. I think, you go back to 2018, right? As we will continuously because it's Tata 1.0. Like we said, you had teams that would come here to the Benz and they would just be like, dude, please let me get out of this with a point. And they would sit there. And Atlanta had the talent to still dismantle teams. But then interestingly, you go to the away games from that year and teams just felt like, all right, we're at our house. We're going to try to play against this really tough team, but we're
Mhm.
confident. We're at our house. We can do it. Do y'all know what Atlanta's away record was in 2018? This is shocking.
It wasn't. They won what 10, 11 games, or they
It
were
was
pretty poor.
11 wins, 2 draws, and only 6
Yeah.
losses,
Yeah.
which is insane because that's I don't think we've had that in this club
No, you've
combined
not.
since 2018.
You've not.
But it shows like that kind of like, again, if you're a fan that's just coming in, why it was so exciting the first time around with Tata was because the type of soccer that he built. And it was just, you can absorb a little bit of pressure and then go and hit on the counter. And it was so much fun because everybody's on the edge of their seat. You've seen a little bit of that this year already. If it can continue to develop, then this DC thing, it becomes just another example early season of the team trying to get right and trying to figure themselves out because they're not there yet. This draw would upset me more like after the World Cup break than it does right now. Right now, it was freaking boring. And that sucks from a fan's perspective. It just sucked to watch. But it's not like the 0-2 type losses that you had at the beginning of the season or some of the rough ones. Like this is something that you can move past because you still have an identity that you're trying to build on.
Yeah.
And defensively, it's better. I mean, that was really the biggest problem for the first 4 weeks was that just defensively, it just didn't look right at all. And that's with new players in there. But also, you weren't playing your best player, your best defensive player in those games, which is still a complete mystery to me on why that happened. But it's
Right.
over now, hopefully. I mean, you are likely going to get healthier in this break here. But if Gregerson doesn't start next week, Just don't let me on the show. Just don't let me on the Sunday reaction show. Don't. No.
Well,
Is this Henry's first time hosting? Did I miss it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Aw.
He's doing
I was
great.
trying to think of a clever transition, but I guess I kind of failed class in that sense. Speaking of class, we're gonna
Get him out of here. He's
We
done.
got there.
we're gonna
The
do
scenic
something fun in
route.
these last few minutes of the show. We are going to grade our thoughts on the season so far through 5 games. Just kind of give Atlanta United a letter grade for where they are and why we're giving that grade. So, who wants to start?
Well,
I'll
we want
start.
everyone in the chat too to put your grades in here. It's school grades. There's no curve. There's no nothing. A through F.
Yeah.
D's get degrees, baby.
Right.
That should not be Atlanta United's motto.
No, but it is right now. I feel like carry on.
It's D
Um,
minuses to get degrees right now. Friend.
Right. Yeah. As Tommy said, if you're watching live, please leave us your grade in the chat. If you're watching on YouTube after the fact, leave it in the comments. If you're listening on the Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave us your grades on social media. We'll give you our social handles after or at the end of the show. But I'm going to start off by saying, I think a C minus, because I feel like we're sort of at the cusp of what this team could be capable of, but I think against DC was a step back, and you still need some help. You still need your attack performing consistently. Your midfield's been somewhat better than what it's been in past years, so that gives you kind of a boost there. Tommy, you mentioned the defense. The defense has been improved, especially with Gregerson and Mihai. Not perfect, but improved, and Gregerson shows that's why he should be in that center back pairing with Mihai permanently, and Barricada should not be. So you have improvement there. The main thing, guys, holding this team back is the attack. I mean, 3 goals or 5 goals in the span of 2 matches. I mean, it's good, but you need a lot more. Latte Lot is largely ineffective. Miguel Miron on his day can still show kind of that spark that he showed in 2017 and 2018, but at the age he is now, in the stage of career he is now, he's just not that same player. He needs to be creative and finding ways to, elevate this team the best way he can. So he has to be able to do that. Moranchuk, what have we said? Every year, he's just not consistent enough to be a difference maker for this team. When he does perform well, he performs well, but it's just not been to a level that's consistent enough to help this team get to where it needs to be. So based on those factors that I've just mentioned, I guess the first 5 matches of the season, a C minus. That's my letter grade. Who wants to take it next?
Lots of
Tommy,
thinking.
Tyler, Henry.
I'm trying to come up with a calculation here. So when you guys go ahead.
Tyler, do you have yours? Because I can go if you don't.
I mean, I can go.
Yeah, go ahead.
I might go with a D plus. I don't know. I struggle because I was actually going to say C minus originally.
I can say C minus too.
No, and I'm kind of like stuck in between. But the reason being, like, it's nowhere near as good as what you immediately want. That's like
No.
my true fan hat being put on. And then my analysis hat, I'm like, this freaking roster and everything about it was totally effed up. And so, though it's only been 5 games, I can't, I don't know. That's why I'm like, is it a C minus? I can't put it all on this miracle that Tata was going to come in and day one, the entire club was going to be changed.
Right.
That doesn't matter though, Tyler. And when you're
No, I know.
grading, you shouldn't be looking at previous.
Right.
You
I
gotta
know.
look at
I
the-
agree.
You got to look at what you have and what you're doing with it.
Yes.
You're
But I
grading
still
on a
think there's
curve. You're grading on a
so
curve.
many variables. I mean, if anything, I'm curving down. Like this is totally. I'm trying to be realistic because Tata, I still think you could be already getting a little bit more out of this roster as it stands. I think you need to stick those 3 attackers into a car and have them drive all through Atlanta
Oh my gosh! I thought
at
you were
all
going
hours of the
somewhere
night.
dark with that. Jeez.
I wasn't sure
Oh.
where he was going with that either.
and make sure that they are on the same page with everything in their life. And so I just, for that, knowing the type of coach that Tata Martino is and what he does to attacks, I'm gonna just bump it down, to a D+ because it's just not quite where I think it should be 5 games in.
Tommy, have you made up your calculations, or Henry, have you made
You
your
need me to
calculations?
filibuster for you.
So I'm gonna give it a C, just a straight C. And what I did was is I took the grade here and just said, all right, well, what do we do in these games? Like, just gave a rough, like, out of 10 type thing. And I gave game 1 a 4. I gave game 2 a 3, game 3 a, a, f- a 4, I guess. But I gave the next 2 games a 7.5 and a 6.5, and it got me to an average of 5. And it's mediocre. I guess it
Yeah.
really is. But the last 2 performances, you did get a result. You got results out of them. So it's just meh right now for Atlanta United. It's
But how you got there was very well thought out. That was good.
thanks. Well, I mean, because I just thinking about it and just throwing like a quick emotion. I was probably where a lot of people were like the D+ in the chat. I mean, the D range is there, and absolutely, I'm like, you know what, I should probably actually think about this and take the first few performances and then but take the 2 because you need to be fair with the other 2 games there. I mean, yeah, it
Mhm.
wasn't pretty, but you got the result there and you were better defensively. That's why I gave them not just a straight, because I thought about giving the last game just a straight 5. It was just average. But defensively, you have improved. And that's why I
Yeah.
gave them a little bit better there. But consistency is really where you're gonna need to be. And I honestly, I probably should just drop it a whole letter grade for the Hoyos effect. Unfortunately, at the moment, but we'll get there when we get there. But and when they announce a non-open cup game and Jaden's there starting, oh. Someone, whoever's at the stadium, I know you guys aren't supposed to cheer in there, but just stand up and just go. This is the moment the club has changed, and he's back fully.
The turning
Like when I
point.
took that picture of Gregerson there, I want someone to take a picture of him and the halo being announced as the starter, because that's where I think things are going to change big time for this team.
On the
And
video
the Open
screen.
Cup can't come
Yes,
quick enough because he's going to have an opportunity to prove to Tata that he can be the guy.
Yeah. I'll just go ahead and give mine's a D. I probably would give him a little bit higher if they had won the DC game, if they had shown not just creativity but ability to finish, because that
Yeah.
would have increased my faith in them a little bit. I was encouraged by the Philadelphia game, and I was expecting them to carry that momentum into DC to continue that performance. But then what they showed against DC kind of makes me think that they're not capable of doing that consistently, and that is not, like, it feels like that Philly game was more of a fluke, the result, than what we should expect the norm to be. And it might just be
Yeah.
because they're in early season form, because we're only talking about 5 games. But some of the buildup has not really convinced me. Some of the speed of play, it just looks behind the play at times, where it takes me back to last season in some sense, where we're moving forward with the ball and someone is just carrying it for too long, and then they run into resistance, and then we stop.
Yeah.
And we turn around and we start the horseshoe of death, and then the attack just dies, right? Because then you make your job
Yeah.
harder. And then you have to revert to Brooks Lennon, I mean Tomas Jakob, I mean Elias Baez sending in cross after cross into the box. And that's just not good, right? Just watching this game back, there were several times where, I think Miggy was playing a little bit too much hero ball, where he would just hold the ball, and sometimes, sometimes he can dribble past a few defenders. Sometimes he can't do that, and he has to stop. And then some of the runs just weren't happening, so this team could actually go and create danger. I thought Emmanuel Latelot, he missed a lot of runs and a lot of spaces that he really needed to attack, a lot of decisions that came down to him that he just got wrong, whether it was the decision to hold onto the ball for a little bit too long, or the decision to go and try to take on 3 defenders, which is something I don't think he's ever done in his life successfully. Just decisions like that kind of, they can turn a really good situation into a wasted opportunity. And that is kind of the main thing for me, is that, yes, this team looks like Tata is instilling an idea and an identity, and that is in progress. But I don't know that the players are fully grasping it and are fully able to execute it. Defensively, there is an improvement, but this is a DC side that did not attack for most of the game. That was literally like 11 players hanging onto the crossbar. It was the bat strategy, as we call it in South America. But if I look at the offseason to me is a C, right? Because you had a need for a 6 and you didn't address that really. You had a need for wingers, and you brought on Fafa Pico, and congratulations, a 35-year-old sub. You didn't really address it. You didn't bring any new center backs. You have 3, one of which is almost definitely gone in the summer. Another of which is injured, and Tata doesn't favor him. Or, well, not injured, but he stays injured a lot, and maybe that changes, but Tata doesn't favor him. And yeah, he's your best defender.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And you bring in a starting goalkeeper when you already have a starting quality goalkeeper. And this starting quality goalkeeper that you have is making me have a heart attack anytime I see him with the ball. So yeah, I'm not, it's a D for me, because it's just not good enough, honestly, for what I was hoping this club would be under Tata Martino, for kind of the bring me back to 2017, 2018. I'm not getting that right now.
It's close, but I mean, not close, but it's getting there. But I mean, we're seeing signs of progress, but I mean, like you said, it's not all the way there yet. How long that will take is another topic, I think.
Well, I mean, you made a lot of moves in the offseason. You did. It's just you can't rebuild the entire team there. But like you said, Henry, is the last couple of windows have been interesting here, and we were talking about it in the Discord. Join the Discord, come hang out with us. There's a lot of conversations here, but one of the things we talked about is the windows that we've had. And with Chris, last summer, it was basically Chris on his own that had made a lot of these moves here, and there was a lot of questionable moves, few real questionable ones. Length of contracts, player need, all of that. And, getting rid of young players. And then this window, most of the players that have been brought in have been overall positive conversations here in a limited amount of time that they've been here. And unfortunately for Chris, because we know how Tata worked the first time around and how he was able to bring in, he's got a sticker book of players that he brings in and guys that he wants. Last window, Chris is getting the blame for a lot of the moves there. And then this window, like, I don't know if Chris is getting any recognition, because people are doing what they assumed last time, which was that these are Tata's guys. Tata's telling Chris who to bring in. And that's got to be frustrating for Chris, because you want to get some credit too. You just can't, say, oh, it's the sticker book, the magic sticker book that's bringing all these players in. But I mean, it's the quality of players have gone up here. Now, just imagine what could happen if Tata had a DP to be able to bring a player in, and what you could start cooking then. And that's where this entire rest of the season and the windows of what we're working with is what can he create here in the next couple windows to really make this team good for the next few years. And that's where I
Yeah.
think you're really going to see, and some TAM players as well. Can you get some TAM players in here? Because U22's players are working out right now, but get a little bit more of a pricey player here and see what he's going to be able to do. And that's where I think, these buyouts in the summer could be huge, so that they can, not shop at Walmart, and you could go shop at a little higher
Nordstrom.
at a higher quality store. I was going to bring up
Saks.
like a Saks. Thank you.
Or
Maybe
at least Target. At least
Target.
Target.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of years ago, I think we were shopping at Walgreens, and
Yeah, that was Dollar General, bro. You got the wrong way.
I mean, and that's but when you have that, you need to be able to find some quality players, that are low dollar, but then when you got the money, you got to get the right guys in here, and that's
Yeah.
the that's the hope, is that you can go shopping here. And now I think we all feel a little bit more confident now with Chris and Tata together, that they can go take those, higher quality signings with the money that you're able to spend, if you open it up. Like, the money's not available now, but if you can, man, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll throw this out there really quick too. Touching on Team's comment, Team saying, I heard Doug say they tried to bring in a number 6 and it never worked out. Yeah, I mean, that's something that we've reported and talked about a lot. Like, they were aiming for a 6, and they got a guy who can play as a right back and also a 6, but he was never meant to be the 6.
Right.
And so, yeah, that is one section of the offseason that was low key very important, that they weren't able to make something happen at. And it does throw a little bit of a wrench into kind of the way the early season was going to go, because I mean, you go on the website and look at the article I wrote about the number 6 position under Tata, with a lot of stuff from Tristan Miumba, because that's where he's been playing. It talks about how crucial that defensive midfielder role is. Dax talked about it with us last week. And not saying that getting the right 6 is just going to unlock this team magically, because I do still think you've got some issues up top that you have to really work through. But you've got to get these right. And to Chris's credit, yeah, I mean, he's definitely been riding a wild wave since he got here. But you did, no matter how you make it work, he's the one signing off on these recommendations. If they're coming from Tata, or if it's Tata and Chris in a room with YouTube and Google pulled up and they're looking at highlights, they're working together. And that's way more than you can say about the past 6 years or more.
Yeah.
You got to get your signings right. You also got to get your Atlanta United coverage right. And we always get it right. We are at scarvesandspikes.com, our website. You can check out
Segues are killer.
all sort of news, analysis, opinions about the team, about the USMNT, who are in town for 2 friendlies this Saturday against Belgium, and then Tuesday against Portugal, ahead of the World Cup this summer, which, oh, by the way, we will also have coverage for that as well. We'll have coverage of NWSL Atlanta as that starts to develop under Mauricio Culebro, who will be setting the framework for that. Very soon, maybe we'll hear some rumors about maybe the team name, maybe some executives and some leadership within that organization. Tons of stuff going on there. And yeah, all of that stuff will be on the website. There's also our World Cup hub. If you were going to be in town for the World Cup, you can check that out for all of the information pertaining to Atlanta World Cup. You can find a nifty little planner for your day, which I think is pretty cool. Tons of resources for you guys. So be sure to check that out. And check out our stats page, where you can see the world famous X-Rage meter, which is currently at a decent, I think like 78 is where I last saw it.
Something like that, 74, 78. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of
It
in
hit
that
a-
middle
it
zone
hit a
of like
season low of 69 last week.
we're not fuming, but at the same time we're not really happy. So it's right in there. But check it out because it's got tons of numbers from American Soccer Analysis, our friends over there. Tons of really good data for you to check out and peruse for individual game performances and season-long stuff and stuff on every Atlanta United player ever. So be sure to check it out. It is an amazing resource and totally 100% free. Also, be sure to follow us on social media. Scarves, letter N Spikes at Twitter on Twitter. At Scarves, is it Scarves and Spikes or letter N Spikes on Blue Sky?
No,
That's
it's Scarves and
AndSpikes.com.
Spikes. The only
AndSpikes.com.
N, the only N is on
The only
freaking
N is on
Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Only
Gosh.
one.
Darn it. I'll get this next time.
All
Hey
good.
man, it's been like a full 9.5 out of 10 so far.
At
with
Scarves and
those.
Spikes.
We could
on
retire.
Instagram.
We could retire.
Scarves and Spikes on TikTok, even. Yeah, we're hip with the kids these days on TikTok.
Okay, calm
yeah.
down now.
Tommy
Check
out
us
of
out on all the
retirement.
socials on YouTube as well. Be sure to leave a comment and like and all the algorithm things to help us out. It really does mean a lot. And yeah, guys, Sydney, social media.
Patreon.com/Scarves and Spikes,
I was
by the
gonna
way.
say,
Don't forget
It's
that.
that. Gosh darn
No,
it.
you're good. You're good.
My grade went down a whole other letter.
All good. Yeah, support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Scarves and Spikes. If you listen to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, please subscribe there and leave a review there as well. I'm at SH Writes on X, SH Writes on Blue Sky, SH.Soccer, Instagram, and Threads.
Tommy.
Atlanta still hasn't scored a goal at twitter.com.
Or at
Aside from the
Tommy
5
ATL
scored
96.
already.
You said it with a little bit more happiness, like Sydney when he was like, and Tommy ATL 96. You'll get tired of my shit sooner than later.
Maybe. Tyler.
ATL Pilgrim.
I am at HA Higita on Twitter and Blue Sky at HA_Higita on Instagram. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a fantastic show.
Yes, it has.
All right. Well, y'all enjoy your international break. We will see y'all next time.
Look at that.
Am I good?
Everybody's
Yes,
counting down to something different, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know, because every time I'm off there. So we should create something that like plans your after Atlanta, like take the rage meter for the game and then like put it into like what you're doing after the game. Like, you know how you're planning your World Cup day, but to plan your after Atlanta United game. Like if it's happiness and partying, like, all right, you're gonna go to the roof of the Reverb and have some drinks, and you're gonna go to Waffle House. If Atlanta United loses 5-0, it's like, screw it. We're going to Magic City. We're going there. We're going to spend all the money, and I'm going to go home, and I'm going to sleep until 2:00 in the afternoon on Sunday. We could get very, very specific with this. Like the fan fiction, we could write people for after games, depending on the score. Oh, man.
This is how the expected rage meter started in the first place. So tomorrow, guess what's going to be on the website? Stories.
Keep giving us ideas, guys. That'll just start popping up on our website. Team is saying in the chat that the AI overview on Google just told Henry is 59 years old. What?
It's the mustache, man. You look like a guy that owned a haunted mansion. You kind of look like, well, we say that about Arthur Blank. Like if you were like Arthur Blank, like he looks like he owns a mansion, and we all get invitations in the mail, and it says if you could survive the night in Mercedes-Benz Stadium past midnight, and the roof opens and the sun comes in, you get his entire fortune, and you get to run Atlanta United. Like that is what happens there, and you with that mustache actually look like you are a blank son. You are the long lost blank son with that stash. You might actually be able to run Atlanta United. And if the music stopped now it's just dead silence, and I feel weird about it. But yeah, you might actually be able to run Atlanta United and the Falcons. Please hire me for the Falcons. But yeah, this is fantastic, Henry. You Henry Blank, you are the future.
We've got to do
I'm just giving you a blank stare right now.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
God.
on one tonight.
Never hosting again.
We need to have a fan fiction Patreon episode. What?
What? Huh? What?
For those listening, I don't know if this makes it into the listening portion. I've never gone back and listened. Henry, it looks like he instructs people in whitewater rafting.
I'm just getting roasted in the chat now.
Wildly specific.
Also a tubing instructor. Then team comes in and says that's a mole stash. Okay.
Oh,
End the
I
episode.
I
End the
think you might be
episode.
reading that wrong.
Molest